Hello, welcome. Going to do a little intro here of Golden Axe. Try to talk faster. I've recorded it a few times. It's always too long. So I don't talk during the gameplay. And this is one of my favorite games. So I wanted to talk about it a bit. I mean, most people know what Golden Axe is, but for those that don't, I wanted to give an overview. It's a side-scrolling combat game from Sega, released in arcades in May 1989. Genesis in December of that year, so a few months after the Genesis launched in the US, which was in August of 1989. It's basically the arcade game plus two more levels. Even with those levels, this is a very short game. You can finish it in under 30 minutes, no problem. The recording of arcade mode in this video is 24 minutes, not including the credits. But even that's not all action because a few times there's some text boxes with story. It is a two-player game, which the arcade game is as well. You can play this game. There is a Master System release, but it's only one player on the Master System. I've not played that version, but from what I understand, you can only select Axe Battler in that game, but you can choose from the magic of each character. In this game, each one has their own type of magic. So this is Axe Battler, the Barbarian. He's got average strength, average magic. Tyris Flare, I think she's an Amazon. Strongest magic, weakest melee attack. Gilius Thunderhead the Dwarf, strongest melee attack, weakest magic. I often play as Axe Battler as I do in the arcade mode, but I show all three modes in all three characters. Like with most games, the same artwork appears on the manual and the cartridge as the box cover. So I'm going to flip through it, kind of point out some things, give a quick overview if I can. The story, standard story, bad guy steals the golden axe, kidnaps the king and the princess. You have to save them. These little elves, they appear throughout the game, sometimes during the action, sometimes in these campfire scenes that appear after levels. You have to hit them. One drops magic pots, the other, who you see less in the game, drops a piece of meat to recover health with. Genesis had a 3-button gamepad. It did later have a 6-button, but this came out when the 3-button was the main thing. There's a magic button, an attack button, a jump button. So jump attacks are the key to this game. It's probably going to be boring to watch because I jump attack, jump attack, jump attack. I do try to show, and I think I show every move in the game with each character, but 90% of the time or more, I'm doing jump attacks because that's what works. It helps avoid getting hit. Still, sometimes I mess up, and you don't want to get stuck between two enemies because then they'll both slash you at the same time and you just can't do anything. And it helps to walk diagonally. That prevents the enemy from doing running attacks. You can do running attacks as well. You can also do high jumps when you run, jump, and hold down the attack button to come straight down with a more powerful attack. And each character also has attack behind them move, where the sword users twirl, and then Gilius, he has an axe, so he does his backwards somersault. Thing I will say, I played this recording with a gamepad. When I was a kid, I exclusively played with arcade sticks. I found it much easier, but I don't have one in good condition, so I had to learn the game using a gamepad this time. It's not bad, but it's just easy to accidentally run because it's a double tap. With the arcade stick, you'd have to go like that. But with the gamepad, you're holding it down to walk, but then you might accidentally lift a bit and press back down, and there you go, you're running when you might not want to. It might get you into some trouble. You might fall off a cliff. So I accidentally run a lot. That's why I hit reset button a lot too. It took me a while to get a recording I was happy with. So arcade mode, 8 stages. I play as Axe Battler. Beginner mode, 3 stages, which just repeats certain the first 3 I think from arcade mode, but enemies are slightly different at the end. I play as Tyris Flare. Duel mode, I play as Gilius Thunderhead. You could play this against another player, or in this case, I play 12 rounds against the computer enemies. There are timers on a timer on each stage, but I don't know what the point of it is. I think it just impacts your score. If the timer reaches 0, it doesn't end. You can just keep fighting. Here are the characters. You can in the options screen, which I will show the options screen. but I'm not talking at all during any kind of gameplay, even the option, the menu screens. So that's what I'm telling you now. I try to show everything. I don't mess with the controls. I basically just, you have a choice of 3 to 5 health bars. I go with the minimum. Then there's a sound test. I click on a few of the sounds, but not all of them. There's too many. And you can listen to the music tracks in there too. So here's the characters. Now I let the demo mode run before I start arcade mode, so when I finish talking here, you can watch the game. Because demo mode is when you don't touch the controller, just turn on the game and let it run. So it'll show you each character, plus there's a little character screen after each one. So if you want to watch the demo mode, that's there too. Okay, keep going. Those are the creatures you can ride. This guy's a chicken leg. He has a tail whip. This is a dragon. There's 2 types of dragons, but you don't see one of them much in arcade mode. Just one time it appears at the end of a level. That one breathes fireballs. The one you see more often, it just breathes fire in front of itself, so you need to be close to the enemy. But the game, I know, like I say, right, say it over and over. It's easy. You don't need the creatures, but they're fun to ride. I wish there was more of them, but the game would have to be much longer. So it would be a better game if it were at least twice as long with more creatures and more of everything. There's the first 6 levels, and then the last 2. And here's some survival skills, but yeah, it's easy. The game's easy to learn too. You'll figure everything out on your own if you didn't have the manual. Then the scorebook. The Sega manuals tended to have these at the end of every manual, but I rarely wrote in them. But I was really into this game. These aren't quite all my scores, some other people too, but I was trying to perfect it and get the best possible score, so I played over and over, but I don't even know how the scores are determined. One thing I will say is the recording I'm including for beginner mode, it's not my best score, but I spammed the magic. I wanted to show all the different types of magic spells they have, but you won't see Gilius have magic because Duel mode doesn't have it. But anyway, I tried to show Tyris a lot, so I was just spamming her magic. Obviously beginner mode is so easy, you don't need magic, but I wanted to show you the graphics, that's why I do that. But I did notice my score was much lower than a playthrough when I wasn't using the magic very much, so I think it's just how you eliminate the enemies. Some enemies will even walk off cliffs on their own, you don't even touch them, but you can knock some off as well, so that all has to impact the score. I just don't know how it calculates it. And on top of score, you also get a strength rating and a letter grade. So I wanted to give you the best I could in arcade mode, so I kept replaying to get the A+++ grade, and I did do that, but I don't know how everything else is calculated. My best score written in this manual is 390. I was playing as Gilius Thunderhead. The other scores aren't too different. I got a 370 here with Tyris, a 367.5 with Axe, 370.5 with Axe. I did play as him the most, but when you get the top score, you don't necessarily get the top strength rating. This top score is a 69 strength rating. Flip over here. Here's a 353.5 score with a 118.3 strength rating. That might be my top strength, but like I said, I don't know how the game calculates it. It's just a guessing game, but I was trying to get the highest scores I could. And I think that's everything. There is a blog post for this, which I don't always do for gameplay videos, but I did for this. The only difference is, what I wrote in there is mostly what I just said now, but there's also some magazine scans, just a few, with the coverage I can find, which includes one magazine review from Game Players magazine for this version, then some Game Pro and Sega Visions coverage for the Master System version. So I was just trying to find anything Golden Axe I could include. So I included some Master System coverage as well, if you want to read that. So I don't talk the rest of the video, and so I will say thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the gameplay.